Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 131. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and I'm joined, as always, by, and only by, Charles.
Hello.
Hello. You're here, Ted's not, because Ted failed us.
We kicked him.
We kicked him.
We didn't
booted
kill
him. He got booted off the show. He didn't beat what we're talking about today. So I figured, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck him. Dead to me.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about Resident Evil 4 Remake, James. And what I'm very excited to talk to you about on this show, and I'm kind of happy Ted's not here, not in a mean way to Ted, but I feel like we started to kind of fall in love with Resident Evil a little bit together with Resident Evil 2 Remake.
I feel like we've talked about Resident Evil on this show a lot, like the Resident Evil series in general. 2, Village, and now or 3 as well.
3, we played 3, and you are not as much of a scaredy cat as I am, so you've tackled a lot more Resident Evil than I have. But I've realized third person's my route. First person, no. But we talked about this. Village has that third person DLC. I had to pay for it. It's $20.
And I think it's not just third person at DLC, which is why it's like they threw in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, the story content. Things
third
in there
person should have been like a free, and then it's like if you wanted the extra story content.
That's how I felt. But hey,
yeah. If it goes on sale, Capcom gets their stuff on sale.
But enough about Resident Evil Village, James, because this is the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, no, not SoundCloud, but Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, I don't know, all those music channels. Google Music, that's probably what it is. We're on all of it now. Thank you to Ted, which I'm honestly quite shocked by.
Yeah, he made it happen.
And now we're talking about our video game related topic, which is Resident Evil 4 Remake. We've played it, we've beat it. I beat it twice.
Oh, you beat it on the
New Game Plus.
Is it called New Game Plus or does it have another name?
I think it's just like you just kind of boot it back up. I'm sure it's just called New Game Plus or something, but I don't know. It didn't have like a specific mode. You boot up like the save that you beat the file on. That's like becomes like a new file.
Do you start with your weapons?
Yeah, you start with it, pretty much everything.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I need to do that.
And then you can go and like anything that you have in storage is still there, and you can go pick it up and stuff. And it's pretty cool. And then you keep all your money and all your little the spindles.
So
like
fun.
you keep all that from the last run. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, and yeah. But so James, we played it. We've played Resident Evil 4. I want to know what you think of it. What are your broad stroke thoughts?
So I think starting from the beginning, it felt you're not gonna relate to this, but it felt very much like Village, and who knew because it's like it starts in a village.
Yeah, I've played the beginning of Village. I got
so you did.
I got to where the vampire lady started chasing me, and I was like, I'm
good.
Yeah.
Then yeah. So it had that very like 8 feel where it's like you're at a village, and it was very clear that this was not like a Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Which I think like you related more than I did because I was like I really liked 2 in the aspect like things didn't, it was like more puzzle.
Yeah, it's
than
much
it was
more
like
puzzle than
shooting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this game does it really well with like the combat, and I think I can see why when this game came out originally, it won like all the Game of the Years, and it was like everyone loves this game because it has such an amazing combat feature, which is like your knife parry, your kick parry, and you're not conserving ammo as you typically would in like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
you can just go out. I mean, you can't be too bad, but
you kind of can. You always find ammo. Like
you're always finding what you need, and that's like, and it keeps the core of like Resident Evil up to this point. I guess when you go from 1, 2, 3 to 4, and this is Remake of 4, it is it's beautiful.
Yeah,
like I've just had. I mean, I beat it recently in terms of like you beating it twice, and the time that you beat it twice, I beat it once. I was thinking a little bit slower, but
so there was a ding on my end. I apologize. Some computer thing. I beat it twice. I can't believe how much I like this game. Like I kind of figured. I think I called it like a few weeks ago on the podcast. I was like, I'm kind of expecting this to be like one of my like big games of this year because I loved Resident Evil 2, but didn't like the like. I've realized that in these games I don't like being like stalked, and so there's that Verdugo moment. And this is where I think this game is really brilliant's not the right word, but really smart, like adapting to your playstyle. Is that like there is a way to just kill Verdugo right away, and that you freeze him with like the cryo kind of things that like freeze him, while you're running away from him. And if you have the RPG, you just shoot it once he's frozen, and he blows up and dies. And so I like after like 5 or 6 times, and I was like, I just can't do this. I got to like, it's about 4 minutes to survive, and I got to like 1 minute, and I was like, I did this like 5 times, got down to 1 minute, and I died. I was like, fuck it, there's got to be a different way to go about this. I'm sure as shit there was. Like, shoot him with the RPG. I was like, So I like that it gives you those options that you don't have to play it like that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like how I felt the whole game of like really like you take a long time ducking through corners and like really slow up every hallway. And then like my second playthrough, man, Leon Kennedy is fucking in there to party. Like I'm running through doors just like pop, 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 pop. And I love that that's like the theme of this game is like, it's an action game hidden like a horror game that's really an action game. And I love that aspect of it. Yeah.
Right. There's a part in Village where in Village you do kind of play it like 2, and it's not as like gun heavy. But there's a part where you just get a full arsenal and you just go ham on like hundreds of zombies, and that aspect wasn't apparent in this game until one part, which I think we really clicked with, which is when you get help from attack
something.
helicopter.
Yeah.
That is like, I don't know, because it felt like so invigorating because you're fighting through the island. I mean, we're talking about the village, but like as you move on to the island,
there's 3 sections of the game. Yeah.
This game is like, you take 2 and you multiply it by. I said how I said it. It says Resident Evil 2 plus 2. That's what I call this, because it's way bigger than I thought, and I thought it was only taking place in the village because I've only heard about the village.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't realize there's like a castle, that there's this other island. Like, it is massive.
Yeah, and I think like what's really cool about this game is like it's not afraid to be a video game. Like it is totally fine being a fucking video game. And like I feel like we're now in such an age where like that's not what you do. You try to make like the most real experience possible. And like I love that like the merchant, who we're gonna talk a lot about the merchant a little. Like I love that it's got these like staples of like very video gamey things. It's like, yeah, you can kill a fish and eat the fish and that's how you heal yourself. Like it's got weird stuff like that that's like totally not in video games today. I love that's here.
Yeah, it's very Resident Evil. I'd say like Resident Evil just preserved a lot of these old systems, like saving, like store checkpoints kind of thing.
Yeah.
These little like mini missions that are like available, or mini games. Like all of these stuff, like I feel like is just lost currently with a lot of like autosave feature or just quit whenever you want. It's really nice because although it's old, it's just remade, it's refreshed, and with the RE engine, it just feels so good.
Yeah, and
I love that.
It's like you know how they took Resident Evil 2 and they changed the perspective and made it that third person shooter. And like I think that really, I mean, obviously added a lot of things to the gameplay, but like made the structure a little different. Like it's very puzzle focused still because that's what the old game was, but there was a little more action to it. But like you said,
not like core puzzle.
Yeah.
It's got like a good healthy balance, I'd say.
Yeah, and then this game is like the opposite. This was like a third person shooter that back in the day you couldn't aim and walk at the same time. And then they've just given you the ability to like play it like a new video game. And I think like that's really fun. And like how they've like added on to this and made it just this bigger experience, I think is also really interesting. The RE engine, I want to talk about this, the visual aspect of this game. Visuals, music, sound. It's just like it hits on all levels. The RE engine is like
it's like a perfect engine.
Holy shit, dude! This game
it's perfect for what it RE is. Like it is what it should be.
That's what that like, dude. The lighting and like the way the light cuts through like the like fog on the floor of the castle at one point, like just got these like great like the vibe,
the hair, the characters, the setting.
Yeah,
it is perfect. And I don't know about you. I had no issues with the entire game.
Me neither. I had no issues.
Ran beautiful. Like it's what you expect. Like, I had no doubt. I think we both like had no doubt this game was going to be good.
Yeah,
I think I have so much faith in Capcom recently, especially with RE2 and RE3. RE3 was
good.
RE3 the story was weak.
Yeah, but that was the game itself back in the day.
The game was good.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. And I think like and then this gameplay, man, the way that everything interacts with itself. I didn't know until like my final like mission or two of my first playthrough that when the guys throw axes at you, you can shoot the axes out of the air.
Yeah.
And
I didn't do that too much.
No, it's so hard to do. But like,
no, it's like randomly how it happened.
It just like the last like level, some guy threw an axe, I like instinctively shot, and like the axe fell, and I was like, did I just shoot the axe out of the midair? This is amazing. Yeah, the way the systems interact with each other, like you said, the parrying and like there's those
the parry is such a strong thing, and like how you approach fights with it is really great because it's like, all right, I'm gonna shoot this guy, I'm gonna stagger him, I'm gonna kick him, and then hopefully I kick the other guy.
Yeah.
And it's like I'll run over here. I love that aspect of the fights where it's not just like I'm gonna spray everything down because there is limited ammo. Like
Yeah, eventually
you're not gonna
will
have it
run out. Yeah.
infinite ammo, but at the point where it gets really difficult, it's okay. I gotta conserve ammo. I gotta protect Ashley, who we haven't even mentioned at
Oh
all.
yeah, yeah.
I guess we haven't even mentioned who you're playing as, which is Leon, who is
S.
also into
Kennedy.
Leon S. Kennedy.
Yeah, please.
Who Leon's amazing.
Do you know why he's S. Kennedy? Do you know this? Like why he's got a middle initial? Because JFK, John F. Kennedy.
Oh, LSK.
Yeah, and then
is he a Kennedy?
He's like the proverbial, I guess, a Kennedy or something.
Yeah, he's gonna go back and run for president after that.
It's very much like Solid Snake is Snake Plissken. Like it's like they were riffing on our culture at the time, which I thought was really funny. But Leon is awesome in this game. He's ridiculous.
He's a one-liner.
Constantly, and it's like so.
I don't remember any good ones, but.
He just has a good one. Yeah. What is he when you hop on the jet ski? He's like, ready for a thrill ride? Like, oh my god. Like, oh yeah, hope you like thrill rides. You're like, all right, dude. All right. I love too that like in cutscenes he'll just like come in and just start shooting guys. Like he's so done with the situation that he's in. That like once you reach
no matter
the castle,
what, I love that because you don't see that enough. You just like let the bad guy talk, and Leon's just like.
Yeah, and then like they'll heal. He's like, I guess I can't do it, but like, I think that's like really adds up to like how you would handle the situation. Like, fuck this. Yeah, so you're Leon, and you've been sent in by the President of the United States to get back his daughter from a crazy island near the coast of Spain that has a plague that is rung amok. And that is
there's some like religious cult.
Yeah, there's a religious cult.
That's
Plaga.
Sick.
And yeah, and then you are there to rescue Ashley, and then it becomes kind of an escort game for a while. From what I understand,
you love those games.
I love escort games. I mean, dude, I now understand The Last of Us was heavily inspired by a little bit of RE4.
I was gonna ask you about that. I was like, how much do you think inspiration inspired?
I think like that core kind of dynamics. Now, I guess from what I understand, I didn't play the original Resident Evil 4, but like they've changed how a little bit of like this companion system worked. It's a little more forgiving this time.
Yeah.
Ashley can still get knocked down and you have to like go pick her up, or she can get like picked up and taken off screen and then you lose. But I guess it's a little more forgiving and she's like not always in the way like she was before.
Yeah, she's a better AI from what I hear.
That's what I've heard as well. That like she was kind of frustratingly annoying in the first game or the original. But yeah, this game is heavily Last of Us was like, oh, this is a little bit of the vibe we're trying to go for as well. Not the corny 90s-ness of it, but definitely the companion nature of it. But yeah, I think like for me, like what I really like about the game that's kind of split into these 3 acts, these 3 sections of the island, the castle, or the village, the castle, the island. I don't think there's really any heavy spoilers saying that. But I like that like the village part is like really laced in at like that kind of fear aspect. And then I feel like as the game slowly goes, you become more confident as Leon in this situation to where you're not like as fearful like in the castle. And then like going into the island, like I was really not afraid of the island until the regenerators, and fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys. Yeah.
Those guys are pain.
Though.
Yeah. So that was a part where I was running through.
Yeah, it's just trying to get. Yeah, that was a little scary. Yeah. But I like that you realize there is a way to kill him, and I think that's really cool. That like it kind of goes back to like.
And then there's one time where you like had to kill him. Like at first I was like not killing them at all, and I was like, oh, I have to actually kill them this time.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I wanted to. So guns wise, like what did you use in your arsenal, and did you test a lot of stuff, or did you stick to a few?
Question.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So you have the starting pistol, which I didn't use too much, but then you get like a 5.7. I can't remember the gun, but I went the Punisher, I think is what it's called. So I stuck with that for a while as like my pistol. I think there was one more a better one than that one. I can't remember. It was like maybe a Tech 9.
Oh, is that the one that's really small in your inventory? Because
there's like I think there might be a 4th one then.
Okay.
I know the small World War II one. I remember that one, but I didn't use that one.
That's the one I used my first playthrough. That's
Red 9.
Pretty good. Yeah, you have like a stock you get.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I stuck with the Punisher as my pistol. I used the first shotgun for a little bit, but then I went with the second one, I believe,
or
the one the riot gun.
That thing's beast.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And then I had a submachine gun, but I didn't use it too much. I just had it because whenever I pick up submachine gun ammo, I was like, okay, well, I'll just use it.
Mm-hmm.
I have an extra gun. And then I rolled with the first sniper, but I think that was a big mistake. So I switched up to the semi-auto rifle.
Yeah.
Can't quite remember that name.
That's what I used a lot of the time.
Went with that one. That one's really good. So then I ditched the rifle altogether. The hunting rifle is just like a little too slow.
Yeah.
So the semi-auto rifle was good enough, and I could put a scope on it. And then I went for the Magnum. I had the one with the laser dot.
Oh yeah.
That one, awesome gun.
I
only used it for like big fights.
Yeah, I never used the Magnum in my first playthrough at all.
Broken.
Yeah.
It deals so much damage.
Well, you can eventually get a hand cannon. That's like an unlockable through the Mercenaries DLC that they've added. And the hand cannon, eventually its exclusive upgrade is unlimited ammo.
Oh, okay. So you just
So I was doing that. I was doing that by the end of like my New Game Plus playthrough. I was just like leveling dudes with this Magnum. Yeah.
And then I had the RPG. But I used it for the last boss. Because I knew I was at the last boss, and like I knew like I had to use it the whole game. So like, all right, I'll just use it. And I think I used it maybe too early because then it just ended the game.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if there was another phase after the phase I was on. So
there's a lot of phases that the RPG just skips.
Okay, so maybe I should have used it, but it was like a second or third phase that I was on.
Yeah, because I used the RPG on the final boss, like my second playthrough, and I was amazed.
At which point?
Right away. The minute he dropped out, I shot him with the RPG, and it jumped to the last phase of the fight.
Okay, then maybe I was the last phase because I used it at the. Is the last phase like the egg part?
Yeah,
or like
that's
okay. Then I used it the last phase.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a really long fight until that egg part.
Yeah, because I was like, I wanted to enjoy the fight a little bit, and that fight was great.
It was really good.
So,
yeah,
then I pulled out there.
What did you think of like the cast of characters, like the bosses, and kind of there's actually 4 Resident Evils, which I think is hilarious, by the way. Yeah. There are 4 main bosses, but what did you think of like the cast?
Resident Evil has the strongest bosses in terms of like what they do and what you have to do to fight them. Mm-hmm. I think out of almost any modern game, it's like so in tune with what Resident Evil is, and you are just thrown into the fight without any knowledge, but there is something that you always know with Resident Evil, and that is shoot the eyeballs. Yeah. And I love that. I love that. It's like they don't have to tell you anything. You know, you shoot these eyeballs and they are gonna explode, and you are gonna weaken this guy and do some crazy knife him somewhere. And there's like the big giant troll. Like there's just a wide variety of bosses, and it's so Resident Evil, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like
I love that troll fight too, because I love that you walk through that area and you can hear the troll, and like you hear something behind that door, and like that like anticipation of like, I know I'm gonna fight whatever the hell is in that door, but like when am I gonna fight that?
I love that too. Yeah, a little foreshadowing. It's like, okay, when is this happening? Do I need to prepare? Like there's a bunch of stuff here.
And they do that like throughout the whole game. Anytime like a major enemy's coming.
Yeah, there's 2 times I think they did that where there's like they teased a fight.
Yeah,
wasn't there.
And I love that. I love that kind of tease.
That's another thing I want to touch on is I think I've said this probably many times. You can probably like find another clip in me in Resident Evil 2 or something like that saying this exact thing. But Resident Evil has really strong level design, and that there is a redundancy, but it's like built into it so perfectly where it's like, okay, I know I'm going to go through here and I'm going to come back to the start and open this door, and that is a full complete. I've used this level to the full extent. The level designers have properly made this level. I don't know how else to say it. It's just like you get full usage. You are going to explore. You are going to know exactly like where everything is. Look at your map, like all the little collectibles. I love that.
Yeah, there's no wasted space in this game.
No. Everything is perfectly like planned out. You are not just like, okay, hey, there's some random scenery, there's some random river or random tree. Everything is meant to be somewhere. Yeah, there's really like, and if it's a random location that it's intentional, and there's like detail to like what is happening in the world. Maybe it's a room that like really isn't story based, and you don't need to go in there to progress, but like you will find some sort of either environmental storytelling or like a file that you can read and like learn more about what's going on with this like crazy group or. I think that's really cool. But it still keeps it somewhat open, which is what I like. I think as other games, like I think another great game with level design is like Doom. Yeah. Where you're gonna go into this one area and it's like a battle room. Yeah, you're in the arena. They have the arenas. And Resident Evil has that as well, but it's just more open. Like you're in like this little arena, there's gonna be a bunch of zombies coming at you, but you have all this freedom, where you're gonna go, you have to run here, you have to go over here. It's awesome. Like, it really is. Yeah, and I think like that's I think what's so cool about this game in particular, like we were talking about, like it is really much more of an action game than anything. Like it really is not a horror game at all, but it treats itself as a horror game, so it uses that space like to like the corners. You're constantly going around a corner, and like what's really fun is like usually there's nothing there, but
there could be, and that's terrifying. And like that's what I think is so fun about this game. Like it feels like a horror game, but it's not. And I love that vibe of it. You know, like I love that it's like I can handle it while still being like it's spooky.
I wish I played the original because 5 was the original for me, and this definitely has the vibes of 5, but nowhere near as good. 5 is definitely more like they wanted more co-op oriented, and it's definitely meant to be co-op played. I'm curious what they're gonna do for the next game because it feels like they were hinting at a 5, but it might be taking a different route.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about that afterwards.
I'm just like, can you imagine playing the original 4, which we didn't do, but if we had, and you go from Resident Evil 2 with not the third person mode, you go to 3, and then 4 comes out with this almost exact mode. It's basically the exact same thing, except just better like modern controls. It would be like life changing. Like it's just like holy crap! Like Resident Evil just leveled up their entire franchise with this one game.
Yeah, and then that's really what they did. Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
so many people that have played it before, it's like their favorite game ever.
Everyone will talk about RE4, and you look at their Wikipedia, which is what I did, and you'll see game of the year, game of the year, game of the year. Like just so many game of the years. 9s out of 10s.
Yeah.
It's such a great game.
It really is. I love the world of this game. Like a lot more, I think, than I like the world of 2. I mean, it's all the same world, but if you know what I'm saying, like the
2 is definitely way smaller, but I love that, like, what they did with the space they had.
Yeah, and this is like grand, and it's a big blockbuster 90s action movie. But I love like that, like the ridiculousness of like the characters, and like we were talking about Leon and his corniness. Like I don't know what his name is, and I'm sorry, but the French dude, he looks like Napoleon.
He's Spanish.
But he looks like Napoleon.
Luis.
No, I'm not talking about him.
Oh no,
I'm talking about the bad guy.
You're talking. Sorry. You're talking about the Sadler.
He's like Mr.
Guy.
Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy. Yeah. I don't know.
Like,
that guy was still Spanish as well.
Yeah.
But I
love
don't remember
like,
that guy's.
What a ridiculous character this man is.
Yeah.
And like he's like your main antagonist for like a large section of that game, and I'm like, that's amazing. Or like Krauser comes in, and you're like, who the fuck is this dude? Like,
yeah, Krauser comes in, is like, I have never known you. I don't know if you're important.
So
Leon obviously knows you.
Apparently, he's much better explained in this game than the original Resident Evil 4, which is wild because about 2/3 into the game, your old military commander shows up and he's bad, and you're like,
yeah,
okay, I guess this is a thing we're doing now.
And that was also a unique fight. I like that.
Yeah, the knife-based fight.
Multiple fights. Yep, knife-based fights are fun.
But I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and getting his knife was super cool. But I want to talk about my favorite character, which is the merchant. Because James, what do you buy?
Like the merchant?
I love the merchant.
Yeah.
I love the merchant.
I always love the merchants in Resident Evil. They're always so good. I cannot for the life of me remember what the Resident Evil 5 merchant is.
Oh.
Or if there was one. I just can't remember.
Because I know the 8 one's like the big fat guy.
Yeah, 8's the big guy.
Yeah.
So you remember the 8 one?
Oh yeah, I remember him. He's hard to forget. But no, I love like this guy's. I mean, it's why I really love this game. Is like his inclusion makes this like world even more ridiculous. But like, oh yeah, I don't need to justify it because it's a video game and I need to buy stuff. Like I love that aspect. And like you walk in and he's like, "What are you buying?" And like, "Gun rhymes with fun for a reason." And like says like these like crazy lines. But I love how they use him also as like a like an identifier. And so like when you're about to leave an area, like he tells you, but like in game kind of like, hey, you better check like the rest of this area before you may not come back here. Like, but he says it like a actual line of dialogue rather than like a text on the screen or something.
I love that. Yeah. There's no hand holding in this game. Like you see that little purple flame. It's like, okay, I know this area is where I'm going to get my save.
Yep.
And then he'll tell you at a certain point, it's like, hey, there's no going back once you're past this point. And I like that.
Me
like
too.
His inclusion, it feels good. It's this game has a good pace where it's like it'll throw you into some crazy shit, and then right afterwards, you're gonna have like a little nice reprieve.
Yeah, a little respite.
To heal up, to craft some stuff. To do your classic like this inventory system. I don't know if it's patented, but it's one of the most fun Tetris inventory systems I've ever had.
Did you use the auto sort a lot? Because like midway through the game, I was like,
I auto sorted every single time.
That's how I was too.
I always bought this extra space and I always auto sorted and yeah,
as much stuff I can carry. Oh yeah, all of the stuff. And then I love like that through him how you upgrade your weapons. and like buying like each power upgrade and then range.
Yeah.
But then what I really like is that you be doing these side quests the entire kind of game to get
Right.
spindle, which is that secondary currency. And that's how then you can buy the exclusive upgrade ticket, and you can upgrade a gun without leveling it to its max to get like the special upgrade. And like the upgrades on certain guns are like crazy.
Yeah.
Like the shotgun gives like 1.5 power on top of what you already have, and you're like, holy crap, that's huge. So I like that like there's like these really intricate systems to kind of work around almost like the limitations that are kind of put in front of you, which is cool. And then the shooting range I also particularly liked. I don't know how much
the
you missed
shooting range.
Yeah.
I love the shooting range. I did every single one.
Oh,
I didn't like S them or I at least A them, but they were a ton of fun. And then using those to get little trinkets for your I don't know if this was in the original. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
I think it was, but I'm not too sure.
What a awesome little addition.
And I liked it when you have a companion with you. They'll come into the shooting range with you and like talk about your performance, which I thought was kind of cool. Like getting like ridiculed.
I think I forgot that because there's like Luis one time was there.
Yeah, and Luis has like he's like, "Wow, man, you could have shot a little better on that one." And you're like, "All right, dude, come on,
okay,
help me out."
He like never helps you when you're like fighting like 10 zombies. He like shoots like one guy. It's like, hey, thank you.
A little help here, Luis. Yeah, thank you, man. Big set piece moments. They've spoiled this in the trailer, so we can just talk about how awesome that minecart section is.
Oh yeah. Oh, that when you bringing it up, and I was like, so when you start the minecart, it's just like a little section at the first, and you're like,
that's it.
I was like, Jake was talking about this, and this is it. Yeah. I was like, I have to talk to Jake, and then it's another one. I was like, oh,
and now it's super fun. Yeah, the first one's like whatever.
The first one's like a little bitty. It's like a little taste, and then it gets into it. Oh my god, I wanted more of it.
Fun. It was. I know I did want more of it too.
A little minecart like type of like adventure. Ooh, it's fun.
I mean, we need that in the Indiana Jones game that's coming out.
Yeah,
some minecart stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love like the big set piece moments that kind of change the gameplay, or like using the boat to travel around that open world section to find the 2 keys, and like I just think that the way they've used it, like we talked about, there's no wasted space, and like moving around it I think is so intricate.
And there's so much like when I think back, and when we talk about the big sections of this game, there's just also intermediary sections connecting those, like the lake connecting the castle and then all this other stuff, and it's just this game is huge. And there's just so many little like tidbits of like all they ever done with Resident Evil series, and then put it in 4, and it's awesome. So and then fun. Definitely when you if you go back and play 8, 8 is basically a 2 and a 4.
That's
so they played that one so safe compared to what they did with 7, which is like a total like remastering of Resident Evil, which again they hit it out of the park.
I know I will never touch 7.
You can never touch 7.
I just know that I would never be able to play it. It's too scary.
Yeah, but I'm really hopeful they remake 5 and remake 6. I never played 6, but I know it's the worst.
6 is supposed to be terrible. I wonder if they'll eventually like change them a little bit or something too. I wonder what's going to happen.
So
because 5 and 6 are not well regarded.
The ending of 4.
Yeah.
Originally, I won't say what it is, but the original ending of 4 ended differently than this 4. Not quite as different.
Okay.
But like there's one little thing that was added in this 4 that could change 5.
Is that the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that wasn't the original game.
No.
Oh.
It was
yeah, okay.
There was like a little
yeah.
There was a little different.
Interesting. That's really interesting. So
maybe I was reading up on it because I read both of the 2 wikis, and yeah. Because the main the main villain of the next game is talking about this game.
That's
but
really
it's a little they could have a little bit more play with it. So I don't know how much they change 5, or if they keep 5 to its roots, which I don't mind. But 5 is too much co-op oriented, and they just hit it out of the park with the single player aspect. So I hope they tune it.
I doubt they're going to do another co-op thing because if you really think
they
about
have an escort is good.
Right, and like Village is like their modernization of it, making it third person. I also bet you, James, RE9 has a first and third person option available from the get-go. I think that's what we're gonna get.
You have fans of first person, and then you have people like us probably like definitely prefer third person, but I could do first person.
Yeah,
but third person is just so much
better. Like third person games better.
Yeah.
Any other major things you want to talk about with Resident Evil? Like what else is on your mind? And then I want to just kind of chat about it.
So I guess we haven't talked too much about Ashley in terms of like, of course, like you escort with her, but like she gets captured a lot. You go like find her, and then she gets the plaga, as do you, just randomly. And so it's like she has like these little like moments where she just like kind of like runs away. And you're just like, Ashley, get back here, come on. But then they kind of like bond over like a certain amount of time. So it's not like, you know, it's not like Last of Us bonding, but you know they have this little like
I like
connection where it's like
yeah,
and then at the end it's like, hey, you want to be my personal guard? Leo's probably like, I don't know.
like, fuck that shit, man. I like my job.
I don't know.
It's like, yeah, I want to be I love that too. It's like, yeah, I want to be a security agent after I'm the guy they send in to fucking like save the president's daughter. I think that's a demotion. I don't want to be your private guard. I'm like, I'm on track to do something real special.
I mean, there are like some hints to it because so we haven't talked about this other person, which is Ada Wong, which you see in 2.
Yeah, she's in 2.
And Leon, I think, feels like so betrayed by her because of course she's a spy and like that's what she does. But it's like very like hinted like he thinks that he like fucked up a lot in 2, and he talks about it a lot. He's like, hey, what about what happened in Raccoon City? Like, we're not gonna talk about it. Like what happened? And yeah, so I think he still feels a little bit lost, and it's like he has like this duty to kind of like you know, fuck over Umbrella Corp.
Yeah, he's got. I think he has like kind of a fun sense of honor, which like he's not an amazing character.
No,
he is a corny, cheesy, dumb action hero, but he has like a fun sense of honor that like kind of makes him compelling, despite like his long '90s bangs. God, his hair is so fun. I love his hair.
Yep.
But I just say, yeah, I actually like really enjoy playing as him, and I know that's not how Resident Evil is, where like they have that one main protagonist, but like I hope he comes back or something. Like I hope they really find a way to like incorporate Leon into like the next set of games.
What I hate is like Leon just falls after this. Like I don't know if he comes back in 6 at all, but it's like then they move on. It's like, hey, we got some new blood. We got Chris.
Yeah, like Chris is back, and it's like okay.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like if they bring him back or anything. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious about it.
I'd love if they did a rewrite of 5, but I don't know. I feel like that's where they could.
I think they could, man, because
then that would change the course of like 6 or this remake era.
I mean, I wonder if they do kind of make 5 and 6 lean a little bit more into 7 and 8, and then 9 is like a big thing. I don't know what they're gonna do. I think it's just kind of weird.
What I like that. Well, Capcom, but Resident Evil, that team has 2 avenues. Like they have like 2 franchises that are Resident Evil, but like that they're continuing on.
Yeah.
At one point, like one of them will stop and like merge with the other, but I love that. It's like that they're like working both. And it works right because then they'll like, we did this in 4 remake. It's like okay, but then we could maybe try and incorporate this with, you know, with 8 remake with 8 and potentially with 9 and. I'm really worried that I know this game, of course, like reviewed well, but I haven't heard too much recently, and I hopefully like it definitely did well, like sales. It
sold really well. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, it sold like
because
really well at the beginning.
I'm worried that it's not going to get the recognition it deserves this year because you have so many good games coming out. We got at the end of the week, we got Jedi Survivor.
I know.
Because. We got Zelda. We got so many good games coming out this year that I feel like it's gonna be overshadowed heavily.
Yeah, I think that's kind of
maybe it wins its genre though. It might win its like
I think it would
area.
It could, yeah.
But game of the year it's as much as it deserves, as much as it's basically a 10.
Yeah, I think it is too. I've been recommending this to people that like I don't even think would like Resident Evil, but I'm like, if you just want like a really fun like action game,
here.
Like this is awesome.
I had friends who've never played a single Resident Evil game, and I was like, if you start with this game, you're gonna enjoy the rest of the games. Yeah, you're gonna want to play, like you're gonna want to play 2. It's like you maybe don't start with 2 because you know it might not be like everyone's cup of tea. But 4, I feel like if you've played a shooter, especially a third-person shooter, which there's a lot, you're gonna enjoy this game.
Yeah, I think like 2, like this game, we've talked a lot about the action, but like opposed to 2, for me this was a little more rewarding and like. In 2, we've talked about like you can shoot a zombie like 10 times in the head, and like it finally
you find
goes
out
down.
really quick. It doesn't do too much.
Yeah, and like I like that this game, you're just like you're taking them out, man. Like you know, you shoot them a few times in the head, or like shooting them in the leg, they drop to their knees, then you judo kick them across the map. Like so fun.
That's the melee aspect, the parry part is so satisfying. This game, if that wasn't in it, I feel like it'd be a lot weaker.
I would agree. I think so too.
The knife finishes, like all these little like the spin kicks are so ridiculous, but it's like the best part.
Yeah.
It's like you have to kick all these zombies, and it's so
And
rewarding.
how you could sweep up like 3 or 4 of them in one kick, and
Yeah.
like, or if you hit the wall and he gets kicked, like that's gonna kill him faster than just like onto the ground. Like all those little bits like of that combat just
Yep.
really add up. Or yeah, like you're talking about the knife kills. Like if the guy's shaking on the ground because he's gonna transform, you can go over and knife him really quick to prevent that. I really like that.
I think about like old early 2000s or old 90s like horror, like House of Dead, like that series where it's just like really zany type of like shooting and bodies flying and you just like shoot this and it's like so random. And, I want that to come back because it feels fun, like just see like shooting something that goes flying or you kick something across the map.
Just kick something. I just love it.
It's just ridiculous, but at the same time it's fun.
And
then the puzzle aspect of this game, which there is,
yeah, it's there.
It's not as heavy as 2,
no,
but it's sensible.
It's a lot less of like going into this room to get this thing to come back to this room to go to that room, like, which I kind of like. There was a lot of backtracking, but obviously RE2, like you were just in that police station. That's pretty much where you were.
Two you had to do is like you had to get this to open this,
and that's
to go
the game,
here, to
right?
grab this, to move. That's the entire game.
Yeah, and that's like
this game is like in this room, you position these dials and you will unlock this door.
Yeah, like little combat trials or something. Like I really like the puzzle with Atlee where like you are fighting and she's on another plane, like lowering, raising the bridge. And like I like that, like
I love that part.
They found a way to do like a fun puzzle within the combat, and I like in managing what you have at your kind of arsenal. And so I really like how they've used the space. Like we just keep talking about, they just don't waste a moment, man. It's just always good.
Everything has a purpose and is rewarding, and you're just always wanting to see what's next, see what's coming out of the corner because it's gonna be unexpected, and it's gonna be awesome.
So. Yeah. Oh God, when you reach the castle for the first time, you're like, oh, going in the castle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the castle has so much great stuff, like the library. Like, I love it.
Did you like the section where I thought this was kind of weird. This has been my one like kind of complaint about this game. I didn't like you play it as Atlee at one point.
Right.
And you do, and
was that too scary?
No, it wasn't too scary. I didn't love it. I mean, to be honest, it was just like whatever. But like you could run past everything and you're fine. Like it's really not that hard. Right. But I didn't like that. Like you did that once, and just never did it again. And so
you're right. Yeah, it was like one little thing.
I just thought that was weird. I was like, well, why even do that? I don't know. For me, that felt very weird. That like you play as her once and then never again. I expected that to keep coming up, or like there'd be like little Atlee sections of stuff, and it just felt very odd that there was just one point. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that there was one point, but I didn't. You're right. I didn't like that you didn't do that more. I thought you would do that more.
Yeah,
it's like you get these little like almost like 2 where you have Leon and then you have like another section where it's not Leon going through the.
I just felt like you kind of maybe get that, and you just didn't. I just thought that was weird. It didn't like lessen the game for me or anything. It just is what it is. But that stood out to me. Like even after like when I finished the first time, I was like, that's kind of weird. I never played as Atlee again. It's like that section was just so random.
Yeah, but it was like hey, he's locked up and you have to go help him, which I get, but that I guess it doesn't happen too much.
Yeah, it happens once.
Surprising. It's surprising it only happens once because it happens to her like 10 times. But
oh God, she's constantly getting taken.
Yeah,
just all the time.
All the time.
There's some great moments though. I mean, I can't wait to talk to you just like offline about like just the actual story beats of this game, but like there's some moments where like holy shit, like when she becomes possessed at certain moments. That to me is like where like story stuff is really interesting. I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the performances were all great too. I thought everyone like wasn't too annoying. There's particular things I didn't like. Ashlee's like panting. She's like constantly like like running behind you.
I didn't notice that too much.
Oh God, I couldn't stop hearing it. I was like, can we just...
which one did you have? Did you have her like where she was like right next to you all the time, or have her like far away?
James, I never changed it. Once I kept her on my hip, I was like, you know what? This is how we're gonna do this.
Okay. I was curious if you were toggling that. No, I never did either. I always had her next to me.
I put her in the bookshelves or the little cupboards every so often. Like you find those cupboards you can hide her in.
Oh yeah. I did that
here?
one time when I was like, why could I put her in here? And I was like, oh, that's.
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
I was like, oh, this is weird. Why am I like just putting her? Or I was like, oh, okay,
there's something coming.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back and like for the like side missions? They'll be like, go kill this special enemy in this room. Did you ever go back?
Okay. I did a couple of those. I thought those were like kind of cool. It's like, oh, there's like a hard enemy.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun. Yeah, the night enemy was really cool. The
night, yes. I love that. I went. So back to that Ashley part.
Mhm.
It's like I did that one specifically because there were certain things I couldn't get with Ashley, and so it's like I knew I need to go back there
Yeah.
with Leon to do it, and that's what I did. And you find that the special night, which of course you saw with her. So that whole part is cool in that aspect, but
yeah. I mean, it was to add
the
that
only
tension,
part.
but it was just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my only, like, I wouldn't even say it's complaint because it's really not a bothersome part.
No.
And on New Game Plus, you can do that part in about a minute and a half. You just know right where to run, and that's where you just go.
Right.
But I just felt it was kind of odd. I just was shocked we never did it again.
Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah, those enemies don't even appear again.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird. Also, like, I thought it was weird that you never fought the two like henchmen to.
You only fought one of them.
Did you fight one?
Oh no.
No, I don't think you ever fight one.
You're talking about the henchman there with Sadler or with the small dude?
Yeah, the small dude. It was like the big dudes. I don't know what they're called. They got probably some weird name.
I thought you fought one of them because one of them took Ashley.
Yeah, I don't know if you fight him. No.
Maybe you don't fight him. Yeah, but
But
one of them was the other dude that you initially fought with the.
Yeah, he
cap.
was the cap. I forget his name. The prospector.
Yeah, the guy. Yeah,
the preacher guy. I like that. I love
the fake Mr. X.
Fake Mr. X. You go into his house, like that's clearly where he lives. I love that one house. The wolf you rescue in the wolf. This game's fucking great, James.
There's too much.
So
there's like
good.
I could talk about every single thing, like fighting the little monster in the lake. That's the thing you do in Village as well, but it's fun.
I just think I just had fun the entire time. I don't think there's a part of the game where I was like, except for the part Verdugo, I guess, but I blew him up.
I think there has to be the part where you're frustrated because this game wouldn't be fun unless there was like some difficulty in it, which there is.
There is. For sure.
But I think it's like when that happens, like, okay, I know where I need to go, I know what I need to do, and boom, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and there's always, I think, like a little secret or a workaround with certain things, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. There's always a way. Like whether or not it's the right way, there is a way.
Yeah.
You can navigate how you want. You could use whatever gun you want. You could.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, you're always given the options of what do you want to craft, and like flashbang grenades are super important.
Flashbangs are,
like with
amazing.
your guns.
Whereas as most games are probably like the most useless thing, and in this game it is like the holy grenade.
Yep. I was never gonna use them, and then like there's a pamphlet where you can actually read, like it tells you like you're gonna want to use flash grenades. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll try this out.
I'd craft those, and some of the heavy grenades, it was like those were a little good, but didn't use them too much unless I had a bunch.
Yeah, I only use grenades like if I had extra. Like I was never going out of my way to make them.
Yeah. Nope, same here.
But it's just what a fantastic video game. I can't recommend it enough. I think everyone should be trying this out because it's top tier. Yeah,
definitely agree. And I think it the way it's going, it'll probably maybe go on sale this summer. So it's gonna be a nice, good summer pickup.
Definitely.
I don't know what Resident Evil is gonna be timeline wise coming out with next. I'd be surprised if they come out with a game next year, but if they do, maybe we'll hear about it this summer, or maybe we'll hear about it this summer and it comes
Village
out
came out in 2020, 2021.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, so 3 years.
2021. No,
2 years. Okay, so you're on a 2 year cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because RE2 is 2019.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
They're on. I think they're on a 2 year cycle, but I think COVID hits you differently in terms of development cycles. So I know 4 was delayed a little bit.
Well, and we know that 4 has been being worked on since like RE2 wrapped.
Right.
Because RE3 was kind of
RE3 was part of RE2, and they just they could have gave us like the most massive 2 game ever.
But they realized, hey, we could sell this for $60 again. Sick. I gotta tell you, there's nothing weirder than when Maddie and I booted up RE3 during COVID, and the first lines of RE3 are, "And the pandemic came for us," or something like that. We're like, we're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
This is scary. That's great. Yeah, so RE3 came out in 2020. Wow. Man, they are just banging these busters out.
Yeah, and they, just nailing it.
Yeah, I guess.
I love it.
I wonder where you go next, because eventually you're going to catch up. And you got to now usher the people that have been playing these games into the next games.
Yeah, because I know some people weren't playing the new games.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a bridge. Maybe it's 9.
And it's something in 9 or 10. 10 seems Resident Evil X seems like a big one. Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Any final thoughts on Resident Evil 4? Anything that's just there in your brain before we say Goodbye.
I think my final thoughts are like I wish I had played the original 4, and I probably had an opportunity, and I hate that 5 was my first. So,
Yeah.
but now I'm glad that everyone now has a chance to play a perfectly remastered and intentional 4.
Yeah, I played like I owned RE4 on PlayStation 5, the original, but like or on PS4 or whatever, the classics. And I booted up, and the aiming system is like
It's just too old.
Yeah, it's outdated.
But at the time when it came out, it was probably like perfectly.
Oh yeah,
that era.
Right, it was probably revolutionary in some regards.
Yeah.
But for me, that is like, it just makes it like kind of unplayable in a weird way.
Right. We've evolved so far beyond, so it's like it needs remastering. Which I think about like all these old games where it's like these studios could go back and really make a classic. Like,
I mean,
nice.
yeah, they're doing it. A lot of them are. They're pulling from the well. Yeah, I just think this game is just awesome. I just can't wait for more people to play it. I'm excited to hear what Ted thinks. I think this is like a perfect Ted Libby video game. Just everything.
Although he had some frustrations.
He did, but he's back. He's up and running. We talked about it on the last show.
Right.
Yeah, that he had some dead zone stick issues, but it's all working out. He says he's in chapter 8, so he's getting there.
Oh yeah, he's halfway there.
Yeah. So, no, I think it's great. I think it's also the perfect length. I think like it's a 10 to 15 hour game when you don't know what you're doing, and then when you know what you're doing, you can
you'll blast through.
Yeah, I beat it. My second playthrough was like 8.5. So okay. I got an A. Don't want to brag. I got an A.
Yeah, we talked about like first. Like it's probably really hard to get like an A unless you're like speed running.
Oh yeah,
because you don't have the stuff to fight like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. And then S rank is really hard because it's all about the number of saves.
Okay, so you just do a speed run.
But you can't. What's really interesting is on a New Game Plus, James, it saves the number of saves that you have carry over. So like,
so you have to start fresh.
You have to start fresh, which I kind of.
I didn't know that.
Can't game the system that way.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to try the professional mode, which is like the really hard mode.
That's the mode I was thinking. Okay, yeah. I thought it was New Game Plus. I thought that was professional mode.
No. New Game Plus you just do on any difficulty. But I would love to try just a dry run on professional. You just like see
with your weapons that you currently have.
No, just brand new.
Oh boy,
it'd be so hard.
I feel like that'd be so hard. Yeah,
so hard. I really recommend this game. I think this game is just awesome. I think I can't wait. Like I said, just to hear everybody else's thoughts and to see where this ends on our list.
Yeah,
James.
And I hope it definitely does well in the rewards.
I hope so too. I think it will. I think it. I mean, it really depends on how good Jedi Survivor is, because we know Zelda's probably going to be good. Jedi Survivor is the next thing, and
I think it's going to be good.
Dude, James, I want this game.
Yeah, I don't see, unless it has like some major gameplay issues. They have like a gem here. So
I was talking with somebody about Fallen Order, and like Fallen Order is really good, and we both love Fallen Order.
Yeah,
but like it is like you can feel Fallen Order is like a little bit of a hodgepodge of systems, kind of like put together, and they refined it, but they didn't have enough time to like really define what they were fully. Yeah, and I think that's why this is so exciting. Is it doesn't have to come out with a movie. It's not like being forced out. Like this is gonna be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's this whole like from now till summer we have too many games.
Oh my god, I know.
We'll definitely be, I don't know. I think we Redfall as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious about Redfall.
Try that out.
Yeah,
I'm not too into it, but that's like something to play after Survivor.
Yeah, that's how I feel too, and it'll be a fun co-op game for us to all just mess around with. So replace Warzone in this
some Game
cycle.
Pass game.
Yeah, exactly. Game Pass, man, pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see more of Starfield.
Yes,
too. Like, what's that big gameplay reveal thing gonna be? Because right now, I just don't care.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah. So we definitely have a lot of games. Finally, it's a strong year.
It's intimidating. It's like hurting my wallet a little bit already. Jeez.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to mention like what you found out.
Holy shit! Okay, this is a PSA for everybody, for our 15 people that made it this far in the show. Nintendo has a rewards voucher program where you can buy and I found this out because I bought Advanced Wars, but I wasn't going to pay $60 for Advanced Wars 1+2 because that's way too expensive. So then they promoted this thing where if you buy this ticket, you can buy 2 new games off their digital store for $100. So I pre-ordered Tears of the Kingdom because I knew I'm just going to buy it anyways, so $70. And then bought Advanced Wars and for $30 basically.
Yeah,
what a cool system.
Yeah, the voucher is $100, so you can basically get 2 brand new $70 games for $100 and save $40.
Crazy. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, because I was really
I mean,
stoked.
there's no tax, right, with buying on the game store?
No, just 99 even.
Even better.
I know. So that was pretty sweet. Yeah, I was pretty stoked about that. And I just
right when you said that to us, I was like, awesome. Because those first party Nintendo games sometimes.
And they never go on sale, James.
They never go on sale, so you gotta gotta get them where you can.
Mario Kart 8 is still $60. And why not? It just keeps going.
Yep.
Just keeps going.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching the 131st episode of the Side Escape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake, that's James, and we will see you next week. We promise.